It is with heavy hearts that I must report, despite having had a fantastic season, despite having signed a new non-contract, and despite me trying to persuade otherwise, Lee Hendrie has retired from professional football. Hello and welcome to the Season 2 preview, where we take a look at both Royal Wootton Bassett Manager 1 and Manager 2 at Bicester and see what's been happening, what's gonna happen, and where we're all going. We're going to start with Royal Wootton Bassett first. This is the preview for the English Hellenic League. We are predicted to finish fourth, which I'm kind of surprised. I thought we might have got better than that, but above us is Bishop's Cleeve and Oxford City, who were there and thereabouts in terms of predictions last year as well. But of course, Cinderford, who were recently relegated from whichever league they were in, are obviously going to be the main competition this season. So we're hoping for a good performance from Bassett. In terms of the Media Dream 11, which I thought was interesting, Corkery and Burton, who are two of our major strikers, have made it onto that list, which is quite nice. There's also been an interesting development. Last year there wasn't a FA Cup, but this year there is, and I don't know why that is. But I'm excited. It's more games, it's money. Okay, so if we have a quick look at the squad, it looks a bit small there. There is still some work to be done with buying players, but we have kind of tidied things up a bit. We've brought in a couple of people, and of course we now have a bit more money because Bullman has retired, or at least has left the club. I believe he's retiring this season. So yeah, we have a slightly better wage budget of 673 per week. We're currently spending 490. There is room for improvement. If we actually have a look at the squad depth, yeah, we're we're missing Lee Hendrie in midfield. We still don't have anybody particularly strong on the right side, but I'm very happy with how the where are we? The back four is starting to line up, so that's nice. And obviously we were fairly good with left backs anyway. Curtis Mears back. He's going to be our number one goalkeeper, though. Again, we're going to be keeping our eyes peeled for a little bit more. What else did I want to have a look at? Yeah, nothing really massive to mention. I'm going to stick with the same tactics because it did work better. I am going to obviously improve this defensive situation and goalkeeper. Hopefully Curtis Mears will do a better job anyway, but if he doesn't, we've also got Precious Usman. Precious Usman, who is 16 years old, but he's 6 foot tall, and yeah, he doesn't actually look bad for such a young man. So he may well get brought in as well. Other ones of note, Scantleberry, he came in. Weirdly, as pleased as I am with him, weirdly he wasn't particularly well received by the fans, and they kind of consider him to be surplus to requirements and blah blah blah. And I'm kind of surprised at that because to me he doesn't look half bad. Yeah, he needs a bit of polishing up in places, but still, as a backup centre half, that's not bad. So yeah, I was quite surprised, but there hasn't been any other major changes. Who else have we brought in? Obviously, you knew about Remy Knott. We are keeping an eye out for maybe another right back, and we're still looking for our left and right midfielders because literally we're sat with in the first team with Liam Wales on the right and Spetch on the left. Who Wales has got good potential, but Spetch I think is he's as good as he's going to get realistically. So still looking for options there, unless I start thinking about playing a different tactic, maybe. But we'll see. It's a bit early to say. Like I say, we haven't actually started pre-season yet. This is all stuff that's happened post-season. So the only other thing I didn't do when I did the end of season review, which I'm now going to do, is if we take a look at Manager One's actual profile. Obviously, all of these things were set up pre-season, the coaching and mental abilities, but the characteristics have obviously developed throughout, the first season there. So we know preferred formation is 4-4-2 because with a standard playing style and an attacking style of coaching, because I got 20 in attack coaching. It's pretty standard. It's pretty boring, isn't it, really, for the modern game, 4-4-2, but I've always been a fan. I'm 43 years old. There's nothing wrong with 4-4-2 down in tier 9, so shush. Okay, so yeah, going down it, reputation 45%. I don't remember what it started as, but if we say it started at 50, I've had a bit of a drop. My media handling is at 50%. I am average at it, I guess. Tactical consistency 65%. Well, that's fair enough. I did definitely stick to the 4-4-2, though I did obviously muck around with odds and ends in terms of how it was played. Hands-on approach 65%. That's good. I am involved. Managing finances 36%. Yeah, that's not so good at all, is it? Handling team discipline, 60%. I'm better than average at it. And loyalty to players, 45%. So that's not too surprising considering the turnover of players I had in the initial pre-season, let alone throughout the season. I don't want to have that again this season, but we'll see. I'm still having people come and try and sign my players, and I'm sure that's going to keep going. But as long as I can keep hold of the decent ones, and should be fine. Domestic player bias, 65%. I think that's funny considering I think everybody I signed was domestic, because I don't think there really is opportunity for anybody to sign who isn't domestic. So yeah, so that was interesting. All right, we're going to move over to Manager 2 now, and we'll start with the competition, because we're in the English. Oh, sorry, Manager 2 is now in the English Isthmian North Division. I apologise that I should have actually Isthmian. I don't Isthmian. I'm going to say. I'm going to learn how to say that properly for the next episode. And in terms of our season preview, in terms of our preview for the division, Bicester are listed as 20-1 as going up, and expected to finish around 14th. Now, in terms of the expectations, and I didn't talk about that for Wootton Bassett. Wootton Bassett's expectations are to win the league. That's what I said we'd do, and that's kind of what I've got to do. Otherwise, it's probably curtains for Manager 1. Bicester Manager, on the other hand, I chose the easiest option, which was avoid a relegation battle. That's not battle bravely against relegation, meaning they're expecting us to go down. That's do your best. And looking alongside us, we've obviously got Chatham, who were promoted, Leighton, who were promoted, and I'm not sure about these guys. I'm not sure if anybody's shown as relegated from the division above, which I guess is the Hellenic Premier, but we'll find out later. Canvey Island are favourites to finish first. And yeah, like I say, I've done a bit of work here with the squad. As you can see, we've got a bit more players in. We've got a bit of a goalkeeping issue. Bernard Ewington and Gary Williams are both youth prospects. I've got him out because he seems to have, I mean, he's eccentric as hell, but he's got a good aerial reach and a good jumping reach, and he's 6'7", so I feel like he should be able to reach anything within that goal mouth with great ease. But obviously he's got one silver star, not even one, you know, as an average rating for the youth team. That's not even a first team rating, so he's not ready. And next to him we have Bernard Ewington, who, again, much of a muchness, just not ready. But don't worry, we have half a star. Oh no, it says half a star. It's 1.5 silver stars apparently. Martin Cartwright on loan from Runcorn. Very good handling apparently. So we do have a goalkeeper coming up, Charlie Crowley. The problem is quite a few people are interested in him, and he's turning into be a bit of a struggle. But he looks like he's going to be half decent if we're able to sign him, so fingers crossed. I don't think he's any relation. Bobby Price, you remember him? He was on loan with us. His contract expired with whomever he was on loan with, and the fact that he played with us for it would have been Carl Sharton, judging by that. The fact that he did 35 games for us and did all right, he was, I can't say he was ever present, but he was, very, very regular. I decided to sign him. So, or at least I've put a bid in. I can't say we've actually signed him yet until, he knocks at the door. And the same for Tom Whelan. Tom Whelan didn't get quite as many games. He got 22, but still, useful person to have in central midfield, and useful backup for advanced playmaker as well. So I'm glad, and hopefully they both will sign. So yeah, that's quite positive. Also, as you know, we managed to keep hold of Anne, which is great. We signed Adam Bryce, which you saw in the last game, and we've also signed Joe Noakes. Joe Noakes is technically he's a left back, but he can play naturally in centre half, which is probably what he's going to be doing. One thing I've managed to do a little bit is create a little bit more depth at left back and centre half by having Joe Noakes. We also need to. Was Kieran Shipp? I can't remember if I brought him. Yes, Kieran Shipp. He's new. He's a backup right back. Because we currently have, where is he? Jack O'Brien. He would be our first choice, and he only got about 14 games last season because he was competing with Asano, and Asano was doing all right, but Asano has since left the club, and so yeah, he's effectively our first choice, with Kieran Shipp going to be our backup. But yeah, interesting looking young player, good physicals, reasonable mentals. I don't think he had a bad last season. Yeah, I mean above average. If you got to call 6.7 average based on what happened, so he had an above average season playing for Binfield. So as a backup, I think he'll be quite handy. Who else did we sign? That's pretty much it, other than up front. He thought I was going to get away with it. We've brought in, obviously, you knew about Terry Cavana. He played a few games for us, but he is his team and does need to go back there. He did have 7 games and 1 goal towards the end of the season there. But we've got James Difford, who was with us last season, was he? Yeah, he was. 6 appearances and 4 goals. I feel awful that I don't really remember him, and there must be a reason for it. I need to take a look. Yeah, he must have signed towards the end of last season. I feel awful. All right. Moving on, before I embarrass myself further, Frankie Sawyer, I did sign. Part of the reason being, well, he's only 2.5 stars. He's insanely fast for a 30-year-old man. Pace of 15 with an acceleration of 17, and I have this, and pressing forward is his preferred role, which means he's got half a chance of performing well. And I honestly feel like when I need a bit of pace, especially as a sub, because he is a backup player, wowzers. Bit of flair too. He could come in and be exciting and score a few goals, so that was the drive behind it. And that to obviously add a bit of depth up front, because technically we've just got him and Difford at the moment, and neither of them are tall enough to head a door frame, let alone a ball. So I don't know. Still work to be done, as I said before, but I do feel like, for example, the midfield is strong, the wingers are strong, and despite our predicted finish, I actually think we're going to do better than that. Plus, like I say, there are still players to come, I think. The big deal with Bicester was tightening up the back. I've done that. The midfield was already pretty good. And obviously I needed strikers. I kind of still need a striker, and I definitely still need a goalkeeper there. So we'll see what happens. So I just wanted to do a quick look at the profile for Manager 2 here. As you can see, his abilities haven't improved. I think maybe I started with a motivating of 10. I hope it was 9 and it went up to 10. I don't know if it changes. But anyway, in terms of characteristics, reputation, my reputation is at 10% because I have achieved nothing and I have no abilities, and I still have a National A license apparently. Media handling, 58%, that's good, that's above average. 80% tactical consistency, which, let's face it, gegenpress, once I changed that, there was no looking back really. Hands-on approach, 65%, same as Wootton Bassett. Managing finances though, 95%. But, you know, that's because they gave us over £1,000 up front and we didn't have any silly big wages to pay like Bullman. So I don't know if that's a fair reflection or not. Like I say, it's only been 1 season. Let's see where we are in 10 years' time. Handling team discipline, 45%. Oh, I wasn't tough enough, apparently. But I'm about as loyal, 45%. And I also have that 65% domestic player bias. So yeah, my preferred formation, 4-2-3-1, which I did always do, even with the tiki-taka. But apparently my coaching style is mental. So yeah, that's interesting. I didn't feel like I could do even a pre-season preview without a game in it. So and bearing in mind that Bicester and Royal Wootton Bassett will not be playing each other during the season unless they randomly happen to meet in the FA Cup, I decided we needed a Hendrie testimonial. So this is the very first friendly of the season. This is before all the other friendlies. It's before all the teams are finished. So let's have a quick look at the lineup. Curtis Mear in goal for Bassett, with Smalley, Knott, Scantlebury and Purehouse making up the back four. Spetch on the left in midfield, Hickman and Denby in central, and Wales out on the right. Hickman, if you remember, is from our youth team, and he did get one appearance last season. I don't really feel like he's exactly ready to sit in Hendrie's spot, but he'll do for today. Up front, we got Corkery and Harris, and for Bicester, we got Cartwright in goal, with a back four of Noakes, Bryce, Ann, and O'Brien. Midfield of Higgins and Baker. Our attacking midfielders left wing, Hampson, middle, Campbell, and on the right is Ramsey, who'll be our captain today. And up front is Frankie Sawyer, the new signing, who is like grease lightning, because like I say, we don't really have any better options. Okay. We don't need to address anything. So let's, you know what, all the best, have fun. That's going to be what I say to everybody. And I'm going to let the assistant manager do their thing as well. Okay. It's all over to you. Have a good one. Listen nervously. Who was that? Joe Noakes. You'll be fine. It's only Bassett. We're a division above them. Okay. Kick off. Nice pre-season day at Royal Wootton Bassett. Bassett in the blue and yellow socks. And Bicester in red with the black stripes. Mear with the ball forward. Yeah, just the opening view. Looks like... Ooh, Bicester have had the first shot. And Purehouse for Bassett with a long ball forward for Harris to chase. Harris on the ball. Takes a shot, rebounds off to keeper only far as Wales. Wales crosses it to Corkery and it's in. 1-0 to Royal Wootton Bassett. Not a bad little goal that. Let's see the replay. Yeah, it was Harris's rebound. He had a go. He should have passed because Corkery was open, but Wales was like, nope. Let me try. And Corkery's like, pop, on the head, mate. 1-0. Okay. Click on this here. I think I'm just at the... There's not a lot happening. I've been very quiet, and I'm just looking at things, and there's nothing to say. Looks like Bassett are definitely having more of the attacking play. I mean, we are at home. 4 shots now for Bicester, but Bicester also have the better... Oh, there we go. That would, you know what? I expected more. I really did. Bassett are 1-0 up at half-time. Frankie Sawyer's been booked for Bicester. Hickman's been booked for Bassett. I'm delighted. I'm happy with what you're doing so far. Keep it up. Let's have a look at the tactics for... Oops. Do that, don't you? I want to be a Royal Wootton Bassett's tactics, not Bicester's. Okay. I hate it when it does this. Bicester Town, Royal Wootton Bassett, tactics. There we go. I don't know why it did that last time. Maybe I did something silly that I haven't noticed. We'll see. Who are we taking off then? Well, Hickman, you haven't been worthy of his spot. We're going to bring on Charlie Daniel. He does play more a defensive mid role, so let's just drop him back, so we'll be happy. As an anchor man, there you go. Might want to defend now against Bicester. Defend this 1-0 lead. And Denby, let's put you central midfielder on attack. That might be the role. You have been the defensive guy pretty much all of last season, so maybe you're now the attacking guy. We'll see. Okay, who else is looking a bit iffy? Spetch. Sorry, mate, I don't have any other left midfielders at all. There's Daniel Bollinger, but he's winger, not an actual wide player. So yeah, that's what we're stuck with for Bassett. Okay, I'll settle for that. Let's go over to Bicester now. Yeah, you have been disappointed. I'm going to tell you off. We're a division above them, for God's sakes. You got to turn it around. I expect nothing less than a win. There we go. That's I've not seen that one. That's pretty good. System got to add anything? Nope. All right, I'm going to have a look at your tactics now and see who needs sorting out. This is Bassett again. It keeps doing that to me. Why? I want to be on Bicester's tactics. There we go. Hang on a minute. Is that me being silly? Bicester. Oh, no. Okay. Ooh, Mr. Noakes. You were a bit nervous and you're having a terrible time. There's nobody I can bring on. You're stuck there, mate. Sorry. Baker's not doing great, is he? It's funny. That was one thing I never pointed out before. The fans aren't a huge fan of Baker either. I thought he was all right. Anyway, who else? Ramsey. Why aren't you doing any? No, we'll bring on Hardiman for you. Campbell's doing okay. Tom Hampson isn't. So we'll bring on McManus for you and see how that goes. How are you doing, Frankie? Frankie Sawyer? He's not doing well either. James Difford it is. Come on. We can have lots of substitutions. We'll have 3. That'll be fine. Okay. Start the second half. Bicester with the kickoff. Let's see if we get a bit more action than the first half. Mir with a goal kick for Bassett. Long ball up to Corkery. Corkery's on it. Puts it forward to Harris. Harris on a run out wide to Wales. Wales with a cross. Corkery with the second goal. It just looked like it was going to happen, didn't it? I don't know if that's actually a reflection on how bad Bicester's defence is, or how good that Corkery and Harris, or how well that Corkery, Harris and Wales play together. But it's 2-0. 2-0 to Bassett. Oh, look at him swagger. Is that another angle? Oh yeah, I just want to make sure it's... Was he offside? Was that considered offside? Oh no, they've given it, so that's fine. What's going on, Bicester? I look like that was a Bassett. And Wales on a run forward now for Bassett. He's got people ahead of him. He's going for his own shot. Cartwright catches it. That's worth a go. Well done, mate. Bryce with a free kick for Bicester. Out to Noakes to Higgins. Campbell now to Higgins. He's putting a long ball out wide, but it's been intercepted. Hardiman to O'Brien. O'Brien back to Baker. Baker to Higgins to Campbell. Then in the box now. Campbell with a shot and he scores. 2-1. That wasn't a bad effort, was it? I don't know how much Campbell played last season. I genuinely don't remember. I think he was he was newish and he was peripheral. Yeah, he only played 1 game and didn't do very well. Well, that's a good start. We'll accept that. Well done, mate. Look at that. Great shot. Okay. 57 minutes gone. Looks like Bicester are pushing back a bit. Oh, Daniels free kick for Wootton Bassett. Cartwright just catches it straight at him. Cartwright now with the kick. We're going to see that. Oh, he's going to throw it out to Higgins. Higgins to Campbell. Campbell with a run forward. He's got Difford in front of him. Difford has a shot. Hits the post. But Amir collects the ball. Spetch has picked up an injury. Okay. Harris for Wootton Bassett. Higgins cuts it out. Passes it back to Cartwright. Cartwright out to Bryce. Bryce to Noakes to Higgins. Higgins with a bit of a run. He's passing out to McManus. McManus has cut in a little bit. Long shot from McManus. He puts it over. Curtis Mear with a goal kick for Bassett. Only as far as Anne. Baker. McManus picks it up on a wing. He's putting a cross in. There's nobody there. Oh, cut out by Salisbury. I want to say Salisbury. That's awful. Corkery. Corkery's on the ball. Long ball forward. Just a bit of a clearance there, I think. And pick it up for Bicester. Back to the goalkeeper, Mr. Cartwright. Bryce now for Bicester. Longish ball forward for Difford to chase. Difford's 1-on-1. Mir gets in front of it. It's a corner for Bicester. Hardiman to take it. Long one to the back where Difford is. Corkery picks it up for Bassett. He's got to run forward. He's got Harris in front of him. Long wall out wide to Smalley. Smalley cuts in. Now we've got a corner kick for Bassett. Corkery to take it. Oh, and he takes a short one to Denby. What's Denby going to do? Nothing. He's been totally tackled. Campbell now with the breakaway for Bicester. He's got 2 on his left. Pushed over to Higgins. Oh, Higgins just misses. I thought that was going in. I really did. That was a heck of a shot. Well done, boys. We do need a bit more improvement out of Bicester when you consider that they're a division above, allegedly. Oh, dear. Spetch for Bassett. Ball over to Harris. Harris, 1-on-1. Rebounded off to keeper. Bassett corner. Doesn't like the pass, does he, Harris? Smalley with the corner. Nice big one over the top. Claimed by Cartwright. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, Bicester are now 14 shots with 5 on target. They're pushing back. Is it going to be enough? We're coming up to the 90th minute. We've got 3 minutes added stoppage time. Okay, highlight Mir for Bassett with the goal kick on over the top. No, is that it? Full time? End of the game. Royal Wootton Bassett 2, Bicester 1. That was fun. Bit of fun. And, of course, a nice Lee Hendrie testimonial. Okay, well, next episode coming up is going to be the first proper episode of the season, which will be the first game of the season. So if we have a quick look at the schedule for Manager 1, the first game of the season for the Hellenic Premier is against Shortwood, so that's what it will be for them. If we just pop on over to Bicester and have a look at their schedule, their first game of the season in the Isthmian Division 1 North is away against Bury. So I feel like Bury are further up unless there's more than one Bury. But anyway, that will be Bicester's first game of the season. So if you enjoyed that, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more Football Manager videos. Thank you very much for watching.